Hello hungry fam and welcome to our channel. Today I'm going to cook and eat Japanese food for 24 hours. Before starting the video, like, share and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also click on the bell icon to get all the post notifications. Starting with breakfast, I'm going to make the vegetarian version of the Japanese savory pancake called okonomiyaki, and these are the ingredients I will use. In a bowl, add 200 grams of shredded Chinese cabbage. You can also use the regular Indian cabbage. Here I have peeled and julienne cut 1 cup of sweet potato, half cup of spring onion greens, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 packet of Maggi veg stock cube. Mix it. To that, add half cup of all-purpose flour, that is maida. You can also use potato flour or tapioca flour if you can find it. Now add 1/4 cup of water to give it like a sticky consistency. In a pan, add 1 tablespoon oil. Then add approximately 1 ladle full of the pancake mix and let it cook for 4 to 5 minutes or until it's crispy from one side. Flip it again and cook till it's nice and crispy. To replicate the okonomiyaki sauce, add 1 tablespoon barbecue sauce and mix it with 1 tablespoon apple cider vinegar. Transfer it into a piping bag. Now drizzle the sauce we made like so. Drizzle some mayo as well. You will find its recipe link and all the product links in the description box below. Using a toothpick, make parallel line, turn the plate and make lines in the opposite direction. This design is similar to the mango cake I made once. I couldn't find a veg replacement for seaweed, so you can skip it. I just chopped the seaweed sheet and sprinkled it on the pancake. Then sprinkle some white sesame seeds and spring onion. Let's give it a taste. It is a very different texture. The veggies and all the garnishes are super crunchy, but the pancake itself is a bit slimy, I would say. The texture looks like it's raw, but it's completely cooked. The taste is really nice. It doesn't have any kind of spice, so it may seem bland, but surprisingly it's not. As I'm not used to this flavor profile, I would rate it a 6 on 10. For lunch, I'm going to try and make the katsu curry, and these are all the ingredients. The spices used are very similar to the Indian spices, so I'm very excited. First, I'm going to soak the rice noodles in cold water until I make the curry. Now add 1 tablespoon butter in a pan. To that, add 1 tablespoon maida and cook it for 2 to 3 minutes. This is the roux which we make in the white sauce. Once it's slightly turned golden brown, transfer it into a bowl. In the same pan, add 2 tablespoon oil, 1 medium-sized chopped onion and saute till it's slightly pinkish in color. To that, add 50 grams of cubed carrots and mix. Add 1 inch ginger, 4 to 5 chopped garlic cloves and mix. We don't have to brown the garlic. Now add 100 grams of mushroom and saute for 4 to 5 minutes. You can use any mushroom you like. Then add 200 grams of cube cut potatoes. Don't remove its skin as it has a nice earthy flavor. Mix and add 1 tablespoon miso paste, 1 tablespoon garam masala, 2 tablespoon curry powder, 1/4 teaspoon cinnamon powder, 1/4 teaspoon salt and saute for 2 minutes. To that, add 400 ml of vegetable stock and mix it. Once you get a boil, cover it with a lid and let it cook for 10 to 12 minutes or until the potatoes are completely cooked. The curry smells so good already. To balance the spices, add 1 teaspoon sugar and half teaspoon of rice wine vinegar or regular vinegar. Finally, add the roux we made. It will thicken this watery curry and give it a nice velvety texture. Once check if the potatoes are cooked. If they are, then switch off the flame and keep the curry aside. If not, then cook it for more 5 to 8 minutes. Now dip the paneer slice in corn flour slurry. Then coat it with the panko breadcrumbs. I like paneer, so for my protein part, I'm using that. You can also use tofu, sweet potato or chicken as well. Traditionally, they use pork, which is called tonkatsu. Dip the slice again in the corn flour slurry. and double coat it with the breadcrumbs. We are doing it so that it becomes extra crunchy. Now shallow fry it from both the sides until it's nice and golden brown. Cut it into strips like so. I don't know if you can hear the crunch, but it's super tempting. Let's plate it up. On the side I have curry and on the other side I have the rice noodles. Sprinkle some green onions. Place the paneer strips in the center and let's dig into it. Wow, it is so flavorful. The veggies are nice and soft, the paneer is super crispy and the noodles go very well with this curry. The curry is not at all spicy but it is very flavorful. There is a pungent flavor from the mushroom and the miso paste. It has a creaminess from the roux and it's like a flavor bomb. I absolutely love it. So for me it was a 10 on 10. Honestly, I'm not at all hungry right now, so I'm planning to have something light for dinner. Let's make Japanese version of momos called gyoza, and these are the ingredients I'm going to use. You can use any filling you like. I'm using this basic veg tofu filling. Just add half teaspoon salt, half teaspoon black pepper powder, 1 tablespoon soy sauce and mix it. Also add 1 tablespoon sesame oil and mix it again. For the covering, I'm using the homemade spring roll sheet which I cut it into round shape using a steel ki katori. Again, you will find its recipe in the description box below. Place 1 teaspoon filling in the center. Apply water on the edges. Fold it into a semicircle and make few ruffles. Just fold and pinch it like so. You can also use corn flour slurry to seal the edges. The shape looks very pretty. In a pan, add 1 tablespoon oil and place the dumplings plain side down. We have to pan fry it only from one side until it's crispy. Then add 1/4 cup of water. Cover and let it steam for 10 to 12 minutes. You can see the bottom side is very crispy. For the dipping sauce, add 1 teaspoon vinegar and 1 tablespoon soy sauce. To that, add 1 tablespoon chili oil. Mix it and let's dig into it. The taste totally depends on the filling you're using, but the texture is very different from the regular momos. In a single bite, you get crispy and soft cover at the same time. The dipping sauce is also quite unique. I like it, so I rate it a 8 on 10. Finally, for my favorite meal, and I'm super excited for this one, it's the Japanese jiggly cotton cheesecake. And these are all the ingredients. First, separate 3 egg yolks from its white and keep it aside. I like to use a plastic bottle to separate the yolk since it's very convenient. In a bowl, add 30 grams of softened butter and 30 grams of sugar. Using a beater, whip it until the butter turns pale in color. To that, add 120 grams of cream cheese. Again, whip it till it becomes fluffy. Now start adding 1 yolk at a time and mix it using a hand whisk. I added 1/4 teaspoon lemon juice, but I would suggest to skip it. You will know why. Add half teaspoon vanilla essence. Using a strainer, add 25 grams of maida, 15 grams of cornstarch, half teaspoon baking powder. Fold the mixture until it's lump-free. Then add 60 ml of milk in 2 batches. In a different bowl, add the egg whites and whip using a beater. Add 30 grams of sugar again in batches and whip till you get soft peaks. Clearly, I shouldn't have added the lemon juice since the milk started splitting. I'm super exhausted to make another batch, so I'm trying to recover it by straining the mixture and adding it to the egg white. Use the cut and fold method so that the batter remains airy. The batter got completely split now, but still I'm going to bake it. I don't want to waste the batter. Transfer the batter in a cake tin which is already lined with baking paper and place it on another tin. Fill 1/4 of the larger cake tin with water. This method is called water bath baking. Bake it for 45 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. Let it cool down, then remove it from the mold. Remove the baking paper. Obviously, it's not jiggly, which is fine. Sprinkle some powdered sugar and let's taste it. I don't know if you can see the texture clearly, but it looks so damn good. It is so soft, it's actually like a cotton, and the taste is extremely delicious. It's definitely not a jiggly cheesecake, but it turned out to be a normal cheesecake without the base. Even though the taste was good, I kind of failed the challenge, I guess, so I'm not going to rate it. Let me know if you want me to retry this Japanese jiggly cheesecake or make a eggless version of it. Try these delicious recipes and let me know your feedback. Today's shout out goes to Reshma Sheikh, Mohit and Harsimrat Kaur. If you want a shout out, then all you have to do is subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and comment on this video telling me that you have. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more amazing videos.